Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Previously, Gina Lestrade finally told all, the truth about what happened 2 months ago. She was lying during the court case, and, well, she came clean about what really happened in that carriage. Magnus McGilded and the victim, Mr. Mason, were not sleeping. No, they were awake and talking to each other, and there were a few other details too. Lots to think about. But anyway, Gina relented and we were able to make her sign the papers to make us her attorney. So now we can investigate the crime scene, and to that end, let's actually go to the room where the body was found. In here.
Behind that door is the storeroom, isn't it? That's what Gregsy said.
Yes, and that's where I saw that dreadful scene last night. Through the little window in the door. Yeah, mark my words, that window is going to be important. Mr. Windibank face down on the floor with Gina beside him.
As the accused legal representative, you have the right to examine the scene, Mr. Naruhodo. We must make a thorough investigation.
Yes, of course, and we will. Behind that door, that's the real scene of the crime.
Don't worry, if there are any clues in there, I'll find them.
I'm glad that she's having a good time. New location. Looks like a smallish room. I don't think there's going to be any camera panning. So we've got a record player, a bunch of bottles, a little wooden box, hello, an opened red trunk, which is so damned colorful. It's like, damn, look at it. Look at that box in that trunk, the red one, in comparison to the rest of the room. It stands out. There's the chalk drawing, the blood stain, the revolver, reels of film, a bicycle, some keys, some notes, and a pen and inkwell, a chair. Clearly the most important thing here is that model ship. Poor Iris. She's clammed up completely.
Iris is bound to find this difficult. After all, Mr. Windibank's life was taken in this very room only last night.
Well, not really. This is just where the body was found. We don't know where he died. Ah! Wait, Inspector? Yeah, where's he going? What is it now, Sunshine? You took one look at me and tried to run away. You think a Scotland Yard inspector would run away from some jumped-up little defense lawyer, do ya? I've never seen her ladyship looking like that before is the thing. I didn't know what to say to her. So you weren't running away from me. You were running away from a 10-year-old.
I'm afraid this is all a little much for young Iris. Some gentle reassurance might go a long way, perhaps, Inspector.
Don't trouble yourself unduly, your ladyship. I mean, at least you're not dead, are you? Oh, brother. I don't think that went very well.
Why?
Look, I'm in the middle of an investigation here, Sunshine, and I told you not to get under my feet.
And we have investigating to do ourselves.
Yes. I'd like to hear more of what the socially inept inspector has to say.
Oh, Hurley.
And inquire into how Mr. Sholm's operation is going. Well, as excited as I am to start investigating, I think it's time we just chatted him up. What does he think of this place? So, Inspector, what do you make of the crime scene here? Pshaw, you've got eyes, haven't you? Use them. It is what it looks like, nothing more, nothing less. Iris, could you lend me a hand?
So, Gregsy, what do you make of the crime scene here? Oh yes, your ladyship, do allow me to humbly explain. Last night, at shortly after the hour of 1 o'clock in the morning, Scotland Yard police attended the scene. 1 hour. 1 hour after midnight. And midnight is the precise moment that the calendar gets changed. The one and only door to this storeroom was found locked from the inside. So it was locked from the inside. The lock appears to be broken now, though. Was that the police officer's doing?
Quite right, ma'am, quite right. We took the liberty of smashing the door in, as humbly as possible.
Oh.
As you can see, the victim was discovered prostrate on the floor, thuswise. And next to the aforementioned body, we discovered the vile gutter child.
Are you talking about Ginny? She's my friend, you know, Inspector.
Miss Lestrade, the hapless girl, was curled up on the floor, dead to the world. She's still alive, you know. Yes, when I saw her, she appeared to be unconscious. And I'm afraid to say she had the gun that was used in her hand.
No!
Presumably it's the gun that's still down there on the floor now. Well, I do believe that's the owner's gun, Windibank, and he made it very clear that he only keeps one singular bullet loaded at a time. For his own purposes. In her pocket, we found the key to the door as well.
What?
The key to the storeroom?
And you say the storeroom had been locked from the inside, Inspector?
Correct. All of which leaves her ladyship's friend in something of a sticky situation, I'm afraid. Obviously, my personal opinion is that it's all some sort of misunderstanding. Of course it is, Inspector. Of course it is.
Gregsy, do you know anything about Hurley? Is the operation finished? Is Hurley all right? Is he?
The thing is,
Don't mince your words, Inspector, please. You don't mean to say that Mr. Sholmes is...
No, the operation's done and dusted. It's just that, well...
Out with it!
Yes, ma'am. They use something called a general anesthetic. It's the latest thing, renders the whole body insensitive. The whole body anesthetized? Is that even possible? It means the operation can be completed while the patient is fast asleep.
Goodness! In the Empire of Japan, we can just manage to provide laughing gas for a tooth extraction.
The trouble is, the latest thing isn't always the greatest thing, if you follow my meaning. They couldn't get the medication to work at first, so it took hours for him to nod off, or so I hear. Now the op's finished, they can't get him to wake up, apparently.
Oh my!
No one knows if it's the anesthetic still in his system or if the bloke's just plain exhausted.
But anyway, all they can do is stand back and watch until he comes around again.
Hurley.
The moment he opens his eyes, your ladyship, I swear I shall get word to you.
What a surprise. Even in matters of life and death, Mr. Sholmes has to do things his way. Well, thanks for that. Let's pick up some evidence and then present some stuff to him. Well, all the more interesting stuff seems to be on the left side, so let's begin on the right. Look at all these articles that have been deposited. The room is stuffed full of them.
I can't believe how many there are. A bicycle, a gramophone, musical instruments, even some enormous paintings, look.
Pieces of different people's lives quietly gathering dust in here together. There's something very peaceful about the atmosphere in here. Or at least there would be if not for the chalk outline on the floor and the policemen shuffling around. Not much I can do about that, sunshine. Oh, I'm surprised there's nothing for these keys. Or this desk? Huh. Or the pillar. Interesting. This is a revolver. A real one.
And quite possibly the murder weapon used to take Mr. Windibank's life. What's the matter, Susie? You and Runo look like you're about to faint. Well, it's just that I've rarely seen a gun in the flesh.
And I've had issues with guns in the past. But anyway, we saw Mr. Windibank with this yesterday, didn't we? I shall have to take my own life. It must be the same gun. And last night, when I looked through the spy hole in the door to the storeroom here, that was the same gun I saw in Gina's hand.
Mr. Windibank told us that he only ever had a single bullet loaded in his revolver, didn't he? Well, it's empty now. The one and only bullet he had in his gun has been fired.
So we can be fairly certain that only a single shot was fired from this revolver. Well, let's look at what color this is. The police have marked the position of the body with a chalk outline.
Poor Mr. Windibank. He was a nice old man.
Well, he was shot just once through the heart. Most likely the fellow died instantly. He wouldn't have felt a thing. Okay, maybe he did die here. This must be his blood, then.
Ah! I don't like to ask at such a wretched time, Iris, but I wonder if perhaps... Don't worry, Susie. I'm ready for action.
Oh goody, a whole new third color.
So, now we know the color the chemical turns when it reacts with Mr. Windibank's blood.
Huh.
And it doesn't match our analysis of the bloodstain we found in the main shop. No, but let's add this sample to the others we've already collected anyway.
I wonder if Mr. Windibank liked horses. Or spiders. I wonder... Okay, if you know, you know. Whatever. Out of all the articles in this storeroom,
This is the only thing that shows any sign of being ransacked.
Ah!
What is it, Iris?
That's the box file that my manuscript was being kept in. Oh!
Iris's unpublished story, The Hound of the Baskervilles. Surely that's not what all this...
Sorry, Iris, but if you ask me, he sold it. Without telling you. We must check inside the box at once. Yes. Ah. It was there. Iris's story was there.
Really? It was? Well, that's good news, isn't it, Iris?
Yes? I mean, of course I believed Hurley when he said he deposited here, but still. It's a relief to actually see it.
Yeah, why would any thief want to steal it? I mean, besides a mega fan like Susato, but... Really? Because that's not a very well hidden frown. Let's take a look at it. Whoops. The Hound of the Baskervilles, Iris Wilson. Boy, that is a lot. Isn't this supposed to go into a magazine? The Hound of the Baskervilles. How did Susato-san know the exact title of this unpublished story? I suppose I'll just have to wait until she's ready to explain it to me.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, you better be. Oh, is that the only thing of note? I suppose it is. No marks, no blemishes, It seems unrelated, but... Huh. Well... That was surprisingly fast, but I do believe we've actually finished looking at everything there is to look at here. Huh. Anything else? Okay, so let's try presenting some stuff. What do you think about the manuscript?
Is that what I think it is? Your ladyship's latest? Yes, my latest story. It's called The Hound of the Baskervilles.
I still don't know what the hell a Baskerville is. I assume it's a location. Like a neighborhood.
A most fascinating title, your ladyship. Fascinating. And, I don't suppose... Would there be any mention of my humble self in the tale this time? Good question. I can't really remember. I see. Well, why would you, your ladyship? I'll just await its publication with eager anticipation.
You needn't worry, Inspector. I'm sure if you do appear, you won't be doing anything particularly remarkable.
You looking to be arrested, Sunshine?
I didn't mean it like that. Even if I did, you wouldn't have bitten her ladyship's head off, would you? Boy, that reminds me. I was thinking about... What's the proper word for, like, a locale in a British land that's a town? I was like, is it a shire? Then I remembered that, remembering the word shire reminded me of the etymology of the word sheriff. Now, you may think of sheriff as being, like, old-timey, Wild West, desert and tumbleweeds and all that, but it actually has its root in Britain. the lawman of a shire was called the Reeve. He was the Shire Reeve. That's R-E-E-V-E, I believe. And of course, it got shortened as people want to do, and that became Sheriff. Shire Reeve into Sheriff. It's kind of a little fun fact for you. Anyway, about the blood samples. Inspector Gregson, could you give me your opinion about this, do you think? We don't tend to share, Sunshine, not with the general public. Ugh.
In that case, Gregsy, how about some herbal tea?
Glug. Glug glug glug. Ah, lovely. Ta very much. That really hit the spot, your ladyship. You don't mind sharing that, then? The ticket? And the coat? No. I'm gonna have to watch it long. Oh, they actually sped up the animation. That's neat. It's still pretty long, though. I already showed the representation papers, and... how about this? Inspector, what do you make of this? Ah, what have we here, then? A redemption ticket for an article deposited here, is it? Looks like someone ran out of office stationery and wrote the ticket on whatever paper was at hand. Yes, this is the ticket from McGilded's overcoat, the one that little Diver turned up with yesterday. Oh, actually, no, it's not. Really? Think you know better than me, do ya? No, I didn't mean to,
Bruno's right, Gregsy. It isn't the same ticket.
Of course it isn't, of course it isn't. I never doubted you, your ladyship. So what's all this about, then, if I might be so bold as to ask?
This is a second ticket.
A second one? It seems that Mr. McGilded in fact had another article in storage here at Windibanks. Is that right? I think we need to discuss this further with Inspector, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh good, because he's ever so easy to talk to. Oh, whoops. Ah, crap. Oh my god. Right. Sorry, wait, no. Converse, yes. Alright, sorry, I'm fumbling with my buttons here. I've recently been playing some Nintendo games, and this game here uses the X button on my controller to confirm, and the circle button to deconfirm and go back, when it's the opposite on Nintendo consoles, so... whatever. This ticket was in one of the pockets of Mr. McGilded's overcoat. Huh? You mean to tell me? Yes, there was more than just the music box disc, it seems. Huh. I should have insisted on the lads taking it back to the yard and examine it properly.
Well, according to the details on this ticket, Mr. McGilded deposited another article here with Mr. Windibank.
Yes, I can see it written here. A small box, was it?
Do you have any idea where it is, Gregsy? Any idea at all? It's another article belonging to Mr. McGilded. It could be an important clue.
Well, yes, I suppose it could be... Please stop looking at me with those big turquoise eyes, all full of hope and expectation. It's too much pressure. I'll lose me marbles, I will. I'll go barking. I love that animation. Look at him. This is no time for dog impressions, Inspector. That's enough sauce from you, Sunshine. There is one thing that springs to mind. According to this ticket, the redemption deadline's already passed, hasn't it?
Oh yes, of course. Articles are only held for 2 months.
So would it be out on the floor? Where the people could browse it and see it and buy it?
So the small box would no longer be in here then?
That's right. It's been forfeited.
Which means it could be on the shelves in the front of the shop, where the forfeited items are offered for sale.
Yes, the shelves in the front. We must search them at once. You're wasting your time.
Oh,
There are dozens of little boxes out there, hundreds even. We can't possibly know which one might have been Miss McGilded's. That information's not written in the ledger. Ugh.
well, I think we should at least have a look, just in case.
Of course, your ladyship, of course. Very sensible of you, I'm sure. This is getting old. Oh my. Must be noon.
Ah, I nearly jumped out of my skin there. How could Mr. Windibank set such a wicked trap?
I doubt he set out to scare anyone.
Is that really the time? I think perhaps we should pay Gina another visit soon.
Oh?
Her trial is tomorrow. We must establish whether or not you will be defending her.
Right. We kind of left it where, like, she signed the papers, but could ultimately decide whether or not to actually go through with it. She could tear it up.
I think we should ask her one more time. She may have changed her mind. Don't you remember, Runo? You told her she could rip up the representation papers if she didn't want you to be her lawyer.
Really? Did I say that?
Yes, you did. The deadline for submitting the paperwork is fast approaching.
In that case, we had better hurry back to the prison and talk to Gina again. Well, I guess we'll leave the boys to look for the box, unless it's this little thing. Look at that little beauty.
Yes, this is where all the items that have been forfeited by their original owners are offered for sale. That's right. They've all got little price labels on them, but there are so many.
I wonder if the small box this ticket was for is still on the shelves somewhere. The box that McGilded deposited here just over 2 months ago.
Even if it were, finding it promises to be very troublesome indeed. There are so many boxes, it could be any one of them.
Mr. Shulm said that a pawnbroker was the safest place to store anything, more secure than a bank's vault. So perhaps the small box of Mr. McGilded's contains something of very great value.
Well, if that's the case, he'd probably have kept it locked.
So then we need to find every box with a lock and break them all open.
Hi-ya! That sort of misconduct would get you arrested. I won't let that happen.
Ah, this takes me back. It's been some time since Usato-san last threw me. Well, what if it's this? Hog! It's here somewhere, but we'll just have to rely on Gregson for this one. Let's go check on Gina. Ah, Gina, good. You're back.
Ah! The police must have finished questioning her then. How was it, Ginny? Was it awful? Huh? Oh, didn't bother me.
Thank you for the papers you signed before. It meant we were able to investigate at Windibanks.
Oh, right. Don't you want to know how we got on? We've been ever so busy. What's the point in asking? Won't change what everyone's saying, that I did it. That's not...
Gina, we came to ask you for your final decision.
Huh? What decision?
About tomorrow's trial. Will you let me defend you or not?
I must submit the paperwork now if you'd like Mr. Naruhodo to represent you. Right, I see.
She's really lost her fight all of a sudden. But I know what that feels like. The worry is just so hard to bear. I don't suppose there's anything new to ask her, but... I want to see what she has to say about the manuscript, actually. Apparently she tried to break in there to find it, maybe? We found this in Mr. Windibank's storeroom. The manuscript of Iris's latest story.
Ah. Oh, right. Well, that's good then.
Curiously, the storeroom at Windibanks showed no sign of being ransacked for items of value or the like. With one exception. The box file that housed this manuscript. It was you, wasn't it, Gina, who broke open the box containing this manuscript last night?
Huh?
You were determined to find out whether or not the Hound of the Baskervilles was really there. That's the real reason you broke into the storeroom last night, isn't it?
Ugh!
Why don't you tell us what happened, please? I'm glad I asked. Huh. Well, let's follow that train of conversation. Let's ask right now.
Alright, yeah, this Baskerville story. It's the latest Sholmes adventure, right? But it ain't been printed yet. So I figured it's gotta be worth a fair few pieces of silver, right? Oh, yes. At least 5,000 pounds. What?
So you intended to sell Iris's manuscript, did you?
No, Ginny, how could you? What? Wait, no, hang on. Of course I weren't gonna sell it. All I wanted to do was find out if the manuscript, or whatever you call it, really was there or not. That's the only reason I was in the place. For Iris' sake, isn't that right? Oh.
We knew why you'd done it from the start, Gina. Of course we did.
But... I knew you wouldn't do anything mean like that, Ginny. I just knew it. Well,
When I saw the manuscript in the storeroom, it reminded me of what you'd said the night before.
Grown-ups do a lot worse than that, believe me. Bare-faced liars, a lot of them. You just ain't realized it yet. I'm telling you, that manuscript ain't at Windibanks. You'd soon see if you had a look. If I'm honest, I have wondered if Hurley's telling me the truth sometimes. I mean that I sometimes wonder if he might have hidden my manuscript somewhere. Somewhere I don't know. Even though it's wrong of me to doubt him. Oh, Ginny, that was so sweet of you. All right. I'll tell you why I did it. Just stop looking at me like that, Iris. weren't because of Iris. That's not why I did it. I just wanted to know the truth, that's all. You wanted to know if Mr. Sholmes was being honest, if he'd really deposited the manuscript at Windibanks. It's like I told you the night before. I never had a father. But Iris's lot ain't like mine. She's got her dad, only she can't see him. And I reckon that's gotta be harder.
Well, hey, what's over there? Look at that distraction. Wow, what is that?
That's why she writes her stories. They're about her dad, really. That's what it sounded like to me, anyway. Last night, when I was listening to what you were saying. Stories about Daddy?
You mean they're not the adventures of a great detective, as much as the adventures of a great detective and his trusty partner?
Well, that's how I see it, yeah. You're so thoughtful and so kind, Ginny. Yes, and we never thought any differently, did we? Look, give it a rest, will ya? I ate all this chumming nonsense, do you hear? I ate it. I don't trust no one, right? That's how I work. 'Cause if you don't trust no one can let you down. So leave me alone. Go on, Scarper.
Is it just me, or what are those brown things on the cuffs of her coat? That's on the coat. The coat that would have been there 2 months ago in the carriage. Is that dried blood? Mr. Mason's dried blood, maybe. Was that always there? Whoa. I hadn't... Oh, son of a... It really is a running trend where I notice something really cool and get ready to dismiss talking about it only for Ryunosuke to bring it up immediately. I hadn't noticed until now, but it's unmistakable. Right there on both sleeves of that overcoat are some very suspicious red stains. Yeah, I know that when blood dries into cloth, it turns brown as it ages. I think it's part of the oxidization, maybe.
What? What are you looking at me like that?
I think it might be worth presenting some of our other findings in that area to Gina now. No, first we need to talk about this stuff.
Oh, all right then, blimey, give it a rest with them eyes, Iris. So come on then, fill us in. Who done it?
Unfortunately, we don't know that yet.
You don't say. We don't know yet, Gina. But Mr. Naruhodo and all of us know that you are innocent of this crime.
And while we haven't yet managed to work out who the real culprit is, there are a number of interesting facts that we have managed to establish.
Oh yeah? Like what?
Well, for example, the reason for you being there in the first place. I think I know now why you broke into Windibanks that night. Oh, brother, this is awkward. I really should have... Okay.
We already have the representation papers and other documents we need.
All we have to do is hand them to the court clerk. That is, if you'll allow me to represent you in court tomorrow.
Nah, don't bother. Ginny, rip 'em up and chuck 'em, would ya? Them representation papers or whatever they're called. This cell ain't fancy enough to have a bin.
So, what will you do in court tomorrow?
I'll be fine on my own. I don't think you will be. Look, it don't matter. What's gonna happen is gonna happen.
This is one stubborn pickpocket. Alright, well, how about you talk about this? Oh, it's right. It may be old, but we might be able to run a test. If it matches up with the color, which I believe is purple... Do you see this pawnbroker's ticket, Gina? It's the one you took to Windibank's, isn't it? The one for that black overcoat that you're wearing now.
Huh? What, that? I don't know. They all look the same to me, those tickets.
Surely not. This one has a very obvious mark on it that would appear to be blood.
Huh?
Does that ring any bells?
I don't know. It all looks the same to me, blood.
And they all sound the same to me, these answers. Suspicious. Those stains on the sleeves of your new coat, Gina. They're blood, aren't they? Not that I know whose blood yet.
What? But blood, Mr. Naruhodo?
Don't appear to have any obvious wounds yourself, though. So could it be blood that splattered from Mr. Windibank when he was shot last night?
Let's not beat around the bush here. This trusty friend of mine will get results much faster than anything else. Huh? Take it easy, Iris. Don't move, Ginny. I'm going to shoot.
Purple. Oh, shit. Oh, damn. Oh. Good God. That's absolutely Mr. Mason's blood, but... Did Magnus, perform some sort of Mortal Kombat fatality or something? What the frick? Oh, this is way more than just a stab. What the hell is this splashback? Or maybe... No, this isn't the splatter of some of it dripping onto him. No, this is a splatter. You can tell by the edges of the main circle on the chest. That's... oh, wow.
Oh my! What the...
Forget the sleeves.
The whole coat is covered in blood.
Of course. The black color of the fabric was masking the stains. That's why you haven't seen them until now.
And the blood has reacted with the chemical to turn a purple color, which matches one of the samples we've already collected perfectly. Yes, now let's see who had the purple blood. Aha! Yes, it was the brickmaker, Mr. Mason, the victim of the murder case 2 months ago.
I knew it.
What? What are you all on about? The victim? What do you mean?
Man, who knew Mr. Mason lived under the ocean? I'm so sorry. I'm sorry for the psychic damage I am inflicting on people who know what I'm talking about there.
It's a rather uncomfortable situation, Mr. Naruhodo, but I think this makes things quite clear. It means the omnibus case is finally solved. The truth about who really murdered the brickmaker, Mr. Mason, is revealed.
Huh. I wonder why Gina's so surprised, though. From Gina's story last video, she said that She said that McGilded spoke at length to her, and even in front of her, McGilded bade that the driver of the carriage, Beppo, run out and pawn the coat, right? Surely it would at the very least be a very dark red. How... there's no way that the blood immediately soaked in and dried to the coat. It's just weird. Huh. Oi, would someone explain what's going on? Stop telling half a story. Oh, you have something to say, Susato? We can see now that the victim's blood is all over Mr. McGilded's overcoat. But in the trial 2 months ago, the defendant said this in his testimony. Now I ask yous, what good-hearted soul wouldn't rush to help a fella bleeding from his stomach? I wasn't about to start worrying about me gloves now, was I? I reached out to give the man a hand. But if you look at this overcoat now, it's clear. These stains couldn't have arisen from Miss McGilded trying to pull the victim to his feet. No, if that was what had really happened, the blood wouldn't have splashed all over the front of the coat. The only explanation from this pattern of blood is that it splattered over McGilded's coat when he stabbed the victim in the stomach. Did Mason have high blood pressure? I've tried to run from the truth for long enough, but there's no escaping it now. The true culprit in that case, Mr. Mason's killer, was Magnus McGilded. Mr. Naruhodo, that horrible case is solved at last. And I helped the man walk free from that trial. I used all that twisted testimony and all that sham evidence to prove his innocence. How could I have let that happen? Runo, did you believe him, though? Did you believe Mr. McGilded was innocent? I believed. Or rather, I think I was trying to believe. I wanted to. Because believing in those you represent in court is a defense lawyer's greatest weapon. A weapon? Before we came to Great Britain, a great friend of mine taught me a valuable lesson. You mean Kazuma-sama? Listen, Ryunosuke. We lawyers are only human. We can't know for sure what is the truth and what is a lie. Which is why we must resort to our primary weapon. An unwavering belief in our clients. That's all we really have. Unwavering belief? Only when we truly believe what our clients tell us can we fight with everything we have for their cause. In any battle, there can be no victory without faith. So I believe you, unwaveringly. What's funny, Gina? Course, sounds like in this empire Japan you come from, everyone must be soft. Well, come on. Look at the mess it's gotten you into believing in that bog trotter. Yes, I inadvertently helped a murderer walk free. Well, at least you've learned your lesson now, eh? Believing in people's never worth it. Someone always stabs you in the back in the end. As soon as you let down your guard, you've had it. Take a leaf out of my book. Believe no one,
get hurt by no one. Gina, may I ask you something? What? I'd just like to make absolutely sure. What would you like us to do with these representation papers for tomorrow's trial? How many times do I have to say it? Rip them up and chuck them away. Are you really sure that's what you want? I bet that's what he wants and all now, Mr. I'm a Believer lawyer over there. Don't forget it was me in that trial 2 months ago. I led everyone up to the garden path, didn't I? And you're telling me you can believe in me after all that? Not likely. Well, Mr. Naruhodo?
A lawyer's primary weapon is an unwavering belief in his clients. Ultimately, it comes down to whether or not I feel I can trust Gina after everything that's happened. I trust her. Don't need to think about it. Gina, let me say it again. Please, allow me to represent you in tomorrow's trial.
Huh? Are you half-baked?
Not at all. You've not once admitted to committing the crime, have you? What's more, I believe that you're telling me the truth.
Seriously, Mr. Naruhodo? Didn't you hear all of what I said before? I'm a born liar. Fibs just trip off me tongue. And I'm a diver, don't forget. I pulled the wool over your eyes 2 months ago and got you into all sorts of trouble. Why would you ever trust me now? I just don't get it. Gina, I do understand why you chose not to put your trust in others. But I assure you there is more to this life than you yet realize. What do you mean? The world we live in is full of people you would do very well to trust. People who won't ever let you down. Huh?
It's true that I'm just a student of law, and I'm certainly lacking in courtroom experience. But I can promise you this. Whatever happens, and until my very last breath, I am completely on your side.
What? What do you expect me to say to that?
Ah.
Then it's decided. I will take these papers now and carry out the necessary preparations for tomorrow's trial. Would be a shame to throw them away now after it's been penned with your name so beautifully. Do what you like. You Eastern lot are... I don't know what you are. I don't get ya.
Gina's taken herself off to the back of her cell. She'd never admit it, but I hope she's feeling relieved. That turned out all right in the end, I think.
Whoever's hiding there, show yourself at once. Eavesdropping is the height of cowardice. Miss Susato? Somebody is there in the shadows, I can sense it. Somebody who wasn't there before. What?
Huh? Who? Huh? What? Who? What? Blimey, you're sharp, eh? Ah, Gregson. I suppose you are using one of those mystic Japanese arts, like the art of stealth I've heard so much about. If anyone was being stealthy, it was you, Inspector.
Gregsy! Oh dear me, I am most terribly sorry, your ladyship. I didn't mean to startle you.
Is he here to deliver good news?
How long have you been listening in on our conversation? Good grief, listening in? No. I just got word that there were some visitors who were refusing to leave even though it was after hours. I assure you, your ladyship, I only just arrived this very minute, not a moment earlier. That's all it is. Nothing untoward, nothing at all.
After hours? Is it that late already? So then, I'll humbly excuse myself now, your ladyship.
Ta-ta, toodaloo, cheerio, all the best, bye, bye and bye.
That's a lot of farewells, and not one of them appropriate for her ladyship.
Oh, but I wanted to have a chat.
I'm terribly sorry, but time is pressing at the minute.
Oh, I see. That's a shame.
If I don't get this emergency at the Supreme Court dealt with, sharpish Lord Stronghart will...
Emergency?
Lord Stronghart?
Nothing.
Forget I said anything. Anyway, I'm off.
Alright, Gregsy, if you have to, but let's chat soon.
Delighted, charmed, can't wait. If you please, my pleasure. That's a lot of pleasantries, and not one of them sounded sincere.
Gregsy's so funny. He says such silly things.
It's certainly entertaining to see an inspector of the police fawning to a 10-year-old girl. But anyway, I wonder what this emergency is at the Supreme Court.
I must attend the court clerk's office now before it closes.
Yes, of course. Thank you, Mr. Sato.
Kindly escort Iris home now, Mr. Naruhodo. I shall meet you there later.
Huh. And so, our investigation came to an end. Susato-san went to file the necessary papers for my defense of Gina the following day. And then it hit me. I could no longer suppress the wretched feeling that had been gnawing away at my insides. Tomorrow, Susato-san would be leaving Britain and making her way back to Japan. Alright, I'm pretty sure this is just going to be one quick scene here, but... Yeah, no, I think this might be the best place to end things. We're really coming down to the wire, aren't we? I don't know what's going to happen with Susato, I just don't know. I mean, I really hope she doesn't leave. She's such a nice, funny character, and I like her a lot. I don't want her to leave. I want her to be here for this trial. I want her to be here when Herlock Sholmes wakes up and everyone has a happy reunion. She needs to be here, damn it. But still, this emergency that's going on, this extra thing that's happening in the background, I don't know what it could possibly be. Well, anyway, next time I very much expect, after we finish this scene with Susato here, we'll head to the trial, first thing in the morning, and the trial will begin. And that's where we'll reunite with Van Zieks. So, thus far, Van Zieks has been a very entertaining character. A very strong personality. Excellent work as an antagonistic force to counterpart Ryunosuke. But we still don't know a single goddamn thing about him. Well, sure, we've met Van Zieks the Reaper, but who is Van Zieks the person? And I can't help but remember, well, his Japanifornian counterpart, Miles Edgeworth. In the very first Ace Attorney game, we barely learned anything about him until the game's final case, which in that one would be the fourth. We just got steamrolled over with a mountain of lore and personality for Miles, and he swiftly became one of my favorite characters in the whole series. I'm kind of hoping we'll see that same thing happen here in this case. Who is Van Zieks? Who is he? What makes him tick? What is his motive? What is his tragic backstory? Who turned him into a vampire? So there's that to look forward to. I mean, we're not going to see any of that next time, I'm sure, but just in general terms, in the future, I'm looking forward to seeing more Van Zieks. And, speaking of the trial, boy, it looks like we're heading into the trial with just this information. I'm sure the murder weapon and the autopsy report will be added to the court record very early on. But I'm still really curious about the camera that was installed taking photos every 30 minutes. Especially punctually at the exact moment that Windibank would be, changing the calendar. Though I don't think Windibank would necessarily be in frame for that, but we can infer that it would be where he was standing. Well, lots to look forward to. I'm Zephyr the Jester. Wait, one more thing. Do I even believe that we have enough evidence to finish this? Is this trial going to adhere to the tradition of the game thus far, for the past 2 cases, and just be the one and only court phase? Somehow I'm not quite buying that. No, I don't think it will. I want to say that we might be heading towards multiple investigation and multiple court phases again. I don't know. Oh, it's so hard to guess. I don't know what this game's gonna throw at me. Now, for real this time, I'm Zephyr the Jester. This has been more of the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll catch you next time. So until then, please take care.